Hi there, and welcome to Mythbusters, New Faith Baptist Church Bible Study during COVID-19 in 2020. I am Reverend Dr. Alexis Felder, First Lady and Minister of Ministry Operations at New Faith Baptist Church International. My colleagues.
I'm Reverend Gregory Powell in the basement.
In the basement, yes, because he's
in the basement.
He's on punishment. We are not letting him work with us anymore.
No.
They have days they get to come out.
Yes. Reverend Sellars Vines, Minister of Evangelism, Outreach, and Missions.
And he is an imposter.
Yes.
You got my name. Okay.
Oh, I see you put the real Alexis. That's fine.
Yes, I'm the real. Okay. I don't want them to be confused. You know, we look so much alike.
Right.
So let's get started because we got meetings.
All right, Genesis 13, chapter 1. Excuse me, that doesn't make sense. Genesis chapter 13, verse 1. There we go.
You know what? You have the snuffleupagus, so it's okay.
So Abram went up from Egypt to the Negev with his wife and everything he had, and Lot went with him. Abram had become very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold. From the Negev, he went from place to place until he came to Bethel, to the place between Bethel and Ai, where his tent had been earlier, and where he had first built an altar. There, Abram called on the name of the Lord.
All right. So, he back where he started? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, which is the story of the people, right?
You know what?
That's not good.
That's crazy.
No, that's not good.
No, it's going to work out in the end.
And coincidentally, the story of our people. So there you have it, gentlemen.
That's what Tim says all the time. That's what Kim Jones says. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. So he ends up right back where he started.
Mm-hmm.
So did he need to go to Egypt? Who sent him to Egypt?
Well, last week in chapter 12.
Yes, tell us what happened last week.
Last episode, but they had he had pitched his tent or something, right? And
you weren't there.
That's the technical theological version.
You weren't there, so that's why I said, yeah, tell us.
So how do you know what happened? Where were you last week? You weren't with us. You weren't there with us and Abram.
Right. So
they had a famine and had to go into Egypt, right?
What you talking about, Willis? Let me see what my books say.
Right.
So he ended up basically back where he started, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So did he need to go to Egypt? Don't sound like it, huh?
Well, he needed to if he wanted to eat.
Okay, so he went to Egypt to get food. God sent him that way? I mean, you know, he already had wealth, and then he leaves out of there with wealth, we know. Mm-hmm. So was it wasted time? Could God, I mean, he's going to Canaan, so, you know, couldn't God have just given him what Pharaoh gave him?
Yeah. Unless he needed wealth along the way, I don't know.
Now you know the Lord will take somebody's money and give it to you.
Hey,
won't he do it?
Want to do it? But like the people, because it's interesting how his journey follows presages the travels of his people. He didn't have the wealth until he went to Egypt, just like the people didn't have the wealth until they went to Egypt. So he becomes, in verse 2, very wealthy in livestock and in silver and gold, which is also interesting because Egypt and Africa has always been the breadbasket
for everybody.
For everybody. And of course, he went and partook of the wealth of the nation. Other folk later came and took the wealth of the nation.
He did not go and partake of wealth of the nation. The Pharaoh gave that money to Sarah. Because he was like, girl, just remember me, okay?
There you go.
Beautiful.
That's right. He wanted her to know that he can do better for her than Abraham can. So you need to decide right now.
You go sleep in the tent or you go sleep in the palace.
That's right. You was.
So Sarai partook of the wealth of Abram.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was Sarah's money. But you know how y'all are. We get money. Y'all say it's y'all money too. And when y'all get money, you say it's your money.
Abram pulled himself up by his own bootstraps.
No. Sarah went in, made it happen, told him what, and sealed the deal.
There you go.
And yes. And he was like, you're so amazing. Here, take everything.
Sounds like the story.
Next verse. Next verse.
Exodus 12, by the way, in 35, verse 35, 36, that's where the Israelites basically did it as Moses instructed and partakes of the wealth of Egypt, which is the basis of their own.
Once again, right.
Yeah, once again. So once again, Africa is the breadbasket of the Western world and has been, others have partaken and then for the last, say 4,000 years have looted.
Right.
Human
The looters and the human traffickers and the sex traffickers?
Yes, indeed.
Yes, they are. Yes,
And the looting continues to this day. 5 through 7.
yes.
Now, Lot. Oh, by the way, Bethel, we need to pause there for a second.
House of God.
Means the house of God.
Yeah, we know that.
It's where later on Jacob has the vision of the ladder to heaven, the stairways, the stairway to heaven, and the Lord makes the promise to him, and so Bethel is associated, even though in that passage he names it Bethel, but Bethel was associated as this holy place where Abram and Jacob both set up altars and call upon the name of the Lord. 13 verse 5. Now Lot, who was moving about with Abram, also had flocks and herds and tents, but the land could not support them while they stayed together. Their possessions were so great that they were not able to stay together, and quarreling arose between Abram's herdsmen and the herdsmen of Lot. The Canaanites and Perizzites were also living in the land at that time. Conflict in the house, in the family.
Right. How the nephew gonna be fighting with the uncle?
Especially when they were like brothers.
Right.
I don't care if they're brothers or not. You don't fight with your uncle. That's your mama's brother.
There you go.
That's right. No, my Uncle Wayne was only a couple years older than us. And so, we were young. We didn't know he was so much younger because he was so tall. And all the men of my dad's family is tall. So he was so tall, we thought he was a grown man. And he was really like 16. And so, but he had all his hair, and all this stuff. So we would torture him because we were like, you a grown man and you won't even obey your mama when she say take out the garbage. And so he would still be asleep in his bed, and we start throwing socks and, Cheerios and stuff out to wake him up. Had no clue he was just a teenager.
Wow.
He never beat us up. He should have beat us up then. We would have known.
You had the right.
He's going to heaven.
Right. Oh, yes, he is. He's a wonderful man. And so so you don't argue with your parents' siblings. That's right. Know your place, Lot.
The moral of this story.
Or you'll end up in Sodom and Gomorrah. Because Lot don't know his place. He married a salty woman. And you want me to keep going?
Go for you're on the roll. Go for it. You don't want to marry.
Because he didn't know how to submit. He married a salty woman. Because what you illuminate is what you draw. So, yeah, right. So, don't be salty.
Don't be salty.
There we go. Back to the story. Sorry. So Lot's ancestors are who?
That is the ancestor of the Moabites and the Ammonites, and they would have contentious relationships with. And it's funny how it's important to know, I think, how the story of Genesis, the story of the people, is framed as a family story, which is common in ancient.
Kind of Appalachian, but yeah.
A little bit. But that's common, and of course, in ancient histories and whatnot. But where the person and people, and both legendary and real, historical, are associated with the beginning of nations and tribes and nations.
So, in other words, our president was born in the wrong time. Had he been born back here, he could have his daughter.
Yeah.
He should read the Bible. He'd be happy.
He read 2 Corinthians, I think.
2 Corinthians.
2 Corinthians. I don't think you got that far.
Well, he read the title.
And so here the older daughter had a son, and she named him Moab.
Mm-hmm.
He's the father of the Moabites, huh?
Yep.
Younger daughter had a son, and she named him what? Ben-Amin.
Yeah, thank you.
And he's the father of Ammonites.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And so now Lot was moving about with Abraham, and they got into it, right? No, their people got into it.
Right, their people got into it.
So what do you think they were fighting over?
Well, I'm thinking just, deductively, I'm thinking they were herdsmen. And so, it takes resources. They said the land basically could not support them while they stayed together. So it was a conflict like nations often have conflict over.
Okay.
Resources.
Water.
Water,
blah, blah, blah.
pasture land, all of that. And so they couldn't coexist together. And so Abram took the initiative to work it out with his brother/nephew.
And the workout was holla. You're like,
We need space.
Yeah, we need space. They sound like
You
Americans.
can't see my hands. We need space.
No, he doesn't understand that context on a truck.
No.
He don't understand on a truck. Public transportation in Ghana, in Africa? Yeah.
Yes.
Ain't no space, baby.
Ain't no
In
space.
fact, I'm going to sit on half of your leg, and you going to let me.
Don't you move.
Space tends to be the prerogative of the wealthy, right? So they get all the space they want, and unfortunately, the rest of the scraps are left to the poor. But of course, that's not the context of this text, but just the way of the world, right?
So Abram, I think part of the problem also was, look, it's not in the text, I'm just saying. Part of the problem was they were tired of Abraham doing all the leading. Abram doing all the leading. Mm-hmm. Lot has his own stuff too. He has a voice. Well, we always got to go where he goes. So Abram says to Lot in verse 8, let's not have any quarrels between you and me, or between your herdsmen and mine, for we are brothers. Is not the whole land before you? Let's part company. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Once again, who's leading? Abram. I'm just saying. I think it was a problem, but okay.
But I think it was a pretty strategic move that Abram's faith allowed him to, gave him to the trust and humility to, if you want to call it that, to make that. Okay, fine, you choose, because either way, God got me. I think that's in essence his mentality. Either way, both between God's provisions and my agency, between God's provisions and the talents and skills and knowledge that He's given me. And I think I don't think we should uncouple the two. I think it's dangerous when we pretend that God's going to do it for us.
We didn't say God was going to do it for him, and we don't want people to think that. But when Abram did it for himself, he sold his wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he.
That's not a That's a no. Y'all just love getting rid of us. You know what? We're going to start getting. I want a woman president so we can make men second-class citizens and we can get multiple husbands. How about that? I wonder how many women would actually do that. I don't know if I can do that. One of y'all is enough. What? I'm here all week.
I'm bringing my drum next time.
That's it. Okay, so they separate because of a lack of resources, and so now they choose. And you're saying that Abram says, whatever direction you want to go, I'm good because God's got me.
That it puts them in position to work this out peacefully with Lot, and that essentially that hey. You make the decision. I first of all, the land itself is wealthy, and so either way we go. So Lot, you choose so that we can keep the peace.
All right. Once again, I think that there was some conflict about how come Abram always gets to go first, and that was Lot, you choose. Okay. I don't know. So what Lot said, he lifted up his eyes, and what did he do?
Yeah,
this body.
Africa, this Egypt land here, my goodness, he compares Africa to the Garden of Eden.
He sure did.
Why? I wonder what the Garden of Eden has to do with like the land of Egypt.
Oh, so you think the garden is in Egypt? I think the garden is in Cush.
Well, wherever it was, when Lot looked at that land,
That looked good.
of Egypt, he said the Garden of Eden must be like that, and I want that.
That's what it looks like flying over Liberia, doesn't it?
Oh my goodness. Yep.
Oh, lush trees.
Over Haiti.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. No trees in Haiti. We need to plant trees in Haiti
down.
so they don't have, so they don't have such horrific impacts from hurricanes and stuff. So
That's right.
Yeah.
So now he travels. So Lot decides to do what? He goes towards the east, to Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Towards Zor, yeah, where Sodom, the region where Sodom and Gomorrah were located, yeah.
Then and so Lot takes his stuff and he goes towards the Jordan, and they separate each other, and then Abram goes to the land of Canaan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened?
Then it shifts to, it gives us a little what's the word, presage that toward what's going to happen with Sodom and Gomorrah, that the men of Sodom and we're sinning greatly against the Lord, that what looks good not necessarily is good.
Wow, now that's a lesson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, great. Yeah.
Everything that glitter ain't gold.
Everything that glitter ain't gold. That's right.
Everything carrying a Bible isn't a believer. Everybody quoting scripture doesn't love God.
Right.
And I love the fact that I take a great lesson from the fact that the Bible doesn't judge Lot's decision. De facto, just that, it doesn't say, well, he chose it because of the greed and, in his heart or anything like that. He chooses it based on what he sees, which from an empirical, logical, rational perspective, I guess, makes sense, right?
Yeah.
He walks by eyesight and not by faith.
But Abram was drawing from a deeper well than that. A deeper vision than that.
That's right.
He was what he saw, but it was also what he discerned and what God had promised him, shaped, I think, and colored, even though it's not explicitly, by what God had shown him and promised him.
Okay.
That's good. Greg.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah.
So, what are you telling men and women today when they're choosing a mate or partner?
The funniest thing, and I had to comment on it on Facebook. Somebody, I think it was one of our members, or somebody, I can't remember who it was, but somebody posted or shared this question that if a man, if your boyfriend, whatever, your man came to you and gave you a note or whatever receipt that your student loan, your $70,000 student loan had been paid for, but didn't give you a ring, would you marry him? And then I think it was what would she be? And the first question, the first letter was smart. A was smart, B was dumb, C was something like ungrateful, and D was it ran like A was reasonable, B was ungrateful, C was smart, and D was something, wicked or something. I don't know, And my response was, well, she, that if she accepts the ring, she would insisting on the ring. I'm messing this up, I know. Insisting on the ring would be A, and C would be smart and reasonable, because there's a difference between being kept and being married. And it was funny because others had said, well, that's dumb and she's ungrateful, and honey, he paid your student loan. What more do you want? And it's like, what more do you want for your life?
To live with you for the next 40 years and be your girlfriend for $75.
Yeah.
We said $75,000, right?
Yeah.
You said
$70,000.
So you live with him for the rest of your life for $70,000.
Yeah, he bought you for 70 grand.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
As opposed to partnering with you,
Yeah.
something symbolic of his of what's in his heart.
Right.
Because if he can write a $70,000 check, then he has more money. And a girlfriend gets it when, a kept woman gets it when he decides to give it to her and use it on her. But a wife has access.
That's right. Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And furthermore, I said, but however, keeping the money and not getting married would be A, smart, or C, smart. Girl.
You can leave with something.
And leave that
I gotta run, huh?
I didn't know
money and run, girl.
I told you I didn't want no relationship.
Right. She told him. She told him.
I told you that's not what I was here for.
But I'm sorry, that just brought that to mind. But I think for one thing it says about relationships is the measure of them is, do they work out mutually, working out issues to mutual benefit.
That's right, mutual benefit.
And from a perspective of equality. I think that is so important to be able to, I like the fact that they worked this out.
Yeah.
They said, here's our problem. This can't go on like this.
That's what men usually do. And women usually, drag it on.
Yeah.
I saw a lady said that she didn't trust women who say they don't hang around with a lot of women. I was like, oh wait, bless your heart, because hanging out with you need to be more selective about who you choose to hang out with.
Yeah.
Because now we come with a lot of issues simply because of the standards and the constant moving of the target. So how do you become what they claim they want when it's forever changing and evolving? Oh, I want that now. Oh, I want that now. Oh, I want that now. Oh, that's the new thing. Oh, now you say our rumps are sexy. Before they were not, but only if it's on her. Now what do we do with that? So, and women chase that. And you have to not chase that in order to be able to have healthy relationships with women. So if another man walks up to the group and just want to compliment and compliment the other, it doesn't take anything from you. But when you're chasing that moving target of what the standard is or what men want and expect, I hate when we say, what men want? Who cares? What do you want? Is the question.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're going to connect with somebody who knows what they want. At least right now. What do you want right now? And so it's just my opinion. But women generally chase the standard, and so it becomes difficult for us to be in relationship because we're always competing against each other. But when you don't chase the standard, then you don't feel you have to compete with other women.
Yeah. And the bar that is set, the standard that you're setting, it necessarily where you need to be trying to shoot for anyway.
Oh, that's the problem. We're not setting the standard. You guys are. The world is. And that's why we're bouncing all over like a bunny. Oh, did I say that? He had a house, didn't he?
Yeah.
There are all his girlfriends in it.
That's right.
See? That's the only way you guys are happy.
Competing for his attention.
You're competing for his attention. Yeah.
Competing for his attention. That's right.
Yeah.
It's funny because every women's conference panel, women's talk, whatever, anyone that I have ever been part of, and you've been, because of I do counseling and stuff, I've been to a number of them. You let me in on a number of them to give a male perspective at New Faith. But even just in general, even the ones you see on TV, whatever, it's always it's men centric. It's how do I get one? What do they want?
Keep one.
And I mean, it's crazy. And with men's conferences, it's not that.
Never about making us happy.
To deal with one.
Right.
Greg, you hit a point there, buddy.
But you don't have a whole lot of men saying, what do women want?
Yeah.
What do I have to do? How do I dress? How do I have to be? Why can't you don't have that. And to your point.
Yeah.
You can't live your life by other people's standards, no matter.
No, so that's why I said I don't mess around with a lot of women because most of them are chasing the standard, and they don't chase their standard.
Yeah. And
when a woman chases her own standard, she lives in her own. She's concerned about what she needs and wants because one is a whole number. Then we usually connect well.
Yeah.
So that's my story. You either love me, or you don't. It's the truth. You either love me or don't. Women who are comfortable with themselves, we get along well. Women who aren't, we don't. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's what I've seen.
And men who are confident, who are truly, not the superficial confidence that we exude, that we put on as a mask to confront the cruel, the cold white world, but who have real confidence in who they are and in what they're trying to be and what they're trying to become. They want a woman who knows who she is and is confident in herself, and we're not intimidated by. In fact, not only we're not intimidated by it, we appreciate it because of what she then adds to now speaking personally, to what my queen adds to my life, and partnering together. That makes all the difference in the world.
All the difference in the world. Yeah. That's right.
I think when Abraham sent Lot away, I mean, I don't think he had any other expectation that you get yours, I get mine, and we're gonna do this thing together, and it's gonna be a great outcome, because they were both
take this job and shove it.
No.
No more. Oh, he didn't say that.
No, he didn't say that.
Your cows and your lands and shove it. He didn't say that.
No. I think they.
Johnny Paycheck. You left a Johnny Paycheck. We are an eclectic people. Black people. We are every people.
Right.
Black people is black people.
They had a mutual understanding, and they just needed some distance. I think they just needed some distance apart. And I think if they would have had that distance, if Moses had need for anything, Lot would have returned. He would have helped out.
Abram.
Thank you. And if Abram needed anything, I think it would have went vice versa. But they just needed some, just a little space. I mean, I think Abram saw it. It's like, no, this is what we need to do in order for us not to kill one another.
Okay.
And I think that's what the relationships, that we need to kind of reconstitute our thinking, and just in terms of marriage and all this that we're dealing with now. We need to reevaluate, the end goal. Once we evaluate.
So we see Abram not helping God.
Right.
Wasn't helping him because he could have chose first. Based on the same, because he got his promise in Chaldeans, the land of the Chaldeans. He got his promise there.
Excuse me. I'm so silly. I'm sorry. I've been in the basement too long.
And we just
I'm losing my mind.
What's wrong with you?
Excuse me.
Right.
They know I really do it. Anyway, so he gets his promise from God at home. Mm-hmm. Now he makes the journey to Egypt, and he doesn't try to, he does try, or does he try to just survive Egypt? I ain't sure what Egypt is about, okay?
I think it was surviving Egypt.
I don't know. I think he was trying to get rid of his wife. Because Lot had a woman. Didn't Lot have a wife too when they were in Egypt? Was Lot with him in Egypt?
He
went. I don't know if he went to the Pharaoh's palace, but he was in Egypt with him.
I think that's presumed, right? They were together.
I would think, yeah.
So you think that he was standing in front of Pharaoh when his uncle gave his auntie away? He said, "That's my sister." So what did Lot do?
One thing we know, they were utterly and completely intimidated by Egypt, and that runs throughout their history. I mean, they were utterly and completely. And when you see the story of the Exodus, the prophets, diatribing against not diatribing, but doing oracles against Egypt and all this. I mean, Egypt, that dealing with Egypt left us helped shape their psyche for sure, both positively and negatively.
I was gonna say no post-traumatic stress. I'm sure Sarah had it. Right, because I'm walking with my husband going to the land that the Lord is going to give us, and now all of a sudden you're giving me here?
Yeah.
Right, where are you leaving? Yeah. And where am I going?
Yeah.
And she couldn't run away. She had no voice. But when you don't have a voice, it is wonderful to know there is one who will speak for you. And his name is Jehovah.
Indeed.
Right, so you don't always got to get the last word.
That's right.
Yeah. God interrupts your plans. He'll interrupt.
It also points out the danger when we as men are, and we live in a patriarchal society, sexist, gender, et cetera, gender bias, et cetera, that when we look at women as possessions, and that's really what you had there.
My woman.
Right, with his wife, with Sarai. Abraham was horse trading with Pharaoh,
Abram.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, he ain't Abraham, Abraham.
He's exalted father. He's not father of many nations.
Not yet. Yes, that's right. Abram, sorry. But yeah, Abram, he basically was horse trading with, and his wife was the horse. And that's the danger when we, that tears up relationships, particularly in the modern world. And we are in a modern world, y'all. Humanity is supposed to evolve. We're not supposed to try to go back 3,000 years and as a definition of our human relationships. That's crazy, and that's not the point of Scripture. Is to go to our God relationships, which are unchanging.
Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Genesis 1.
Created in His image, according to His likeness, male and female alike.
Yeah.
Egalitarianism, partnership, kingdom. Not lordship.
Right.
He's not put anybody over anybody because he don't want nobody over anybody because that's a what? A false god. Ooh, y'all walking around here trying to act like false gods. Y'all in trouble. Ain't gonna be no men in heaven. What we gonna do?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Deborah's making sure of that.
And Greg, I was getting ready to say the same thing.
All I can say is, only Reverend Vines.
I was just getting ready to say the same thing. I better listen to my wife when I think I know I'm right.
All I can say is, is there anybody in the room who disagrees now? Speak now, forever hold defeat. Excuse me. Hello, where my paper at? I got something to say. Greg can't come cause. I make good choices. Sorry. I ate something. Yeah, I'm hungry. I've been fasting, man. Oh wait.
Okay.
Amen.
Good for you.
Yeah, good stuff.
So verse 14.
Yeah. Okay.
The Lord said to Abram,
wow.
Lot had parted from him. Lift up your eyes from where you are, and look north and south, east and west. All the land that you see, I will give to you and your offspring forever. Offspring like the dust of the earth, so that if anyone could count the dust, then your offspring could be counted. Go, walk through the length and breadth of the land, for I am giving it to you. Abram moved his tents and went to live near the great trees of Mamre and at Hebron, where he built an altar, there again, to the Lord.
So we see two things
The end of the
here.
chapter.
Trust the Lord's word and worship.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. And God
I'm sorry, go on, babe.
go ahead, Dr. Lex.
No, sweetie, go on.
I was just saying, and here we have God just reaffirming His promise to Abraham, even though Lot, he went and he was occupying some space, but God reaffirms to Abram, like, no, dude, all this is yours.
Yeah.
It's yours. Yeah.
And Abram, I see patience. I see patience with Abram. Now, again, I'm still stuck on Sarai and him giving her away. But I see, once again, outside of that, I don't see Abraham trying to help God. I see Abram saying, Egypt. Maybe I can get a new wife. If for my new land.
Yeah. Well, Sarai is conspicuously absent in these.
No voice.
Yeah.
No, only thing that's negotiated is her womanhood.
Yeah.
Well, nations fall down for that, right?
Indeed.
He didn't win that.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, just say that the men of Sodom were wicked and were sinning greatly against the Lord. So there you have it. That's the other side of patriarchy. You got to take all the blame too.
Right.
Except for the Eve thing. Except for all of sin and death. That we can put on Eve.
So now let me talk about your burdens again. Hi, welcome to the Congo couch. Talk to me about your burdens, okay?
There you go. I find it's really interesting. This is the second promise that God makes to Abram. And like Doc Vine said, it's a reaffirmation of his God always confirms his promises, especially when we get in position. And that's the other thing, though, that he's moved when God said to move, by faith, not by sight.
That's right.
On that promise. And moving on that promise puts him in position to now he not only hears it, but he sees it. God actually moved to him. Even before, he's not going to actually be the one to occupy it, but God gives him the vision, and it's the vision that drives him, and it's the vision that it's the vision of his legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have nothing to add to it.
Yeah. Wow.
Read. You done reading?
Yeah, that's it. That's the end.
Arise and walk in the land. Okay, so Abraham starts walking, and God says, "This is yours. This is yours. This is yours." Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Everywhere he goes, church. While we're streaming and communicating and worshiping virtually, and we're separated from each other as a church family by physically separated from each other. Everywhere Abraham went, he established his church. He established his place, if you will, of worship. And he even if it was just a rock, he just put the rock down.
That's right. Drop a rock.
Yeah.
Get to worship. I think that's Jacob, but you get the point.
Yeah.
He puts a few rocks together and says, "This is my altar. I'm going to worship here." So we can.
No, I think that's important because people think when you say altar, they're thinking of what they've created in their home or what they see in the church, and they don't understand that an altar was a bunch of rocks.
Yep.
Because so that you could put a burnt offering on.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it was a campfire.
Yeah, and a reminder for the people and for generations that come
Did
along.
he go deep on us? I was cracking up that he went deep. Yeah, it's a reminder. Praise ye the Lord.
You know what I'm saying? It's a reminder for us.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Worship and the word. He went on God's word and he worshiped every step of the way.
That's right.
And when he got weary and made the wrong decision, God intervened and saved his woman. Said, "Nope, you're not getting another one, buddy.
Right.
You're not getting another one, buddy."
Right. That's right. Now go and grow.
Now I would love to hear Sarah's voice. No, let me stay with Pharaoh. It's so dusty out there anyway, darling.
And it really, how much richer. Now we're talking about from a human perspective. All scripture is God inspired, not God dictated. It's God inspired, but written, translated, all of that by human beings. It means it's no less holy. In fact, it's even more so because God works through us to achieve his purposes. And how much richer would this text have been had we heard Sarai's voice? I mean, I yearn for her perspective in this.
Right, because she might have thought Pharaoh was hot too, and like, you know what? We gonna stay together. Yeah, and then the Lord said, "No, y'all not."
Student loan entering. Pharaoh, see Abram.
Right.
All I know is I think the money was for Sarah.
And I would have loved to get her perspective on why she didn't just say, "You know what, Pharaoh got everything."
And he won't me, because this one right here want to save his hide. They don't care about where I'm, because once Pharaoh slept with her, what was going to happen?
Yeah.
They weren't going to climb out of a window, jump on a white horse, and ride off. That was not going to happen. She was going to become a wife in his compound, in his palace, and eventually move into the concubine quarters when he get another one. Yes.
Although, a wife of the Pharaoh, particularly if because there's one interpretation that this is of course, and it jives well with them leaving with all the wealth, him becoming wealthy in Egypt. That Pharaoh was actually making a pact with Egypt, a pact of support, of alliance of some kind with this nascent nation, this tribe, whatever, this family.
This family, because they're not a city.
Not a nation, yeah, that's overstated.
They are nomads.
Yes, but you know, I mean, it is in the interest of Pharaoh to establish order in the kingdom by accommodating these nomadic tribes rolling around in their sphere of influence. It may, you know, so it may well have been this wife. I mean, certainly it would have been the same. She wouldn't have been a Nefertari or anything, or a Hatshepsut. Well, Hatshepsut was a pharaoh, but anyway, you get the point. Queen Ty, you know, she wouldn't have that kind of power, but you know. She would have had more than she had with Abram, maybe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I would love to hear Pharaoh. I would love to have heard the dialogue between Pharaoh and Sarah. Again, I don't think we're giving the woman enough credit.
Yeah.
Pharaoh spent intimate time with her. Right. He talked to Abram here. He talked to Sarah back there.
Yeah.
That's right. And I think after his time with Sarah, because he was mad at Abram, because God had to come and disturb his world. But he's mad at Abram for getting me into this mess.
That's right.
But Sarah is the innocent one. And because you're so precious, and I do want you, I just can't have you because the law has said it. Here, take this and don't ever forget me. Y'all don't know how y'all treat us. You don't know how the other men treat them. That's what the other man says to your wife when you're not around, okay?
So how did Pharaoh find out? Did Sarah tell him what the deal was?
Lord did.
Huh?
The Lord did.
The Lord did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Started messing up his stuff.
He started messing up his stuff. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Okay. He said, "What's going on? Why'd you bring this calamity on me?
All right.
You told me she was your sister because I was trying to get another wife. She can still be my sister. Well, she really was his half sister.
Right.
So a half truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Don't you love it? A half truth, not a half lie.
It was a half something. Yeah. Half truth, half lie.
Right.
He was almost honest.
Right.
He was a typical politician. He only half lied, like a Trumpian.
There's some truth in there and there's some non-truth.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that because we're nonpartisan. Separation of church and state and all of that.
I don't think you should talk about Trump around Abram because he'd had a whole bunch of babies with Ivanka. Yeah, Ivanka would be like, Sarah, wait up! God would be like, that's your child. Put him down, get off your lap, daddy.
Right.
Okay, I think we should go.
I think it's time.
You haven't eaten.
The word and worship work.
Indeed.
Yeah.
That's right. So if you want a relationship with Jesus Christ today and want to experience how the word and the worship works, we invite you to say this prayer after me. Dear God, thank you for Jesus. Dear Jesus, come live in my heart. Be Lord of my life. I believe right now I am saved. Thank you for saving me. Amen. If you prayed this prayer, you are saved today. Your name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And the good news is God doesn't give salvation and take it away like people do. We all fall short. And the reason why we have so much fun during COVID, doing these Bible studies, because we want you to see how we are just normal people seeking to serve God, seeking to do our best. We all fall short. We sin. We make mistakes. We don't say the right things. We aren't always nice to each other. But one thing we know is the Lord, He is God. And among these three, we love each other.
Absolutely.
So have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Register to vote.
Newfaith.org.
Census.